The following program is produced by the Tech Talk Radio Network.
Hey, this is Mike Nelson from Mystery Science Theater and RiffTracks.com, and you're listening to the greatest show on the planet, Tech Talk Radio.
Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy.
Well, we're all fresh from a nice Super Bowl game this past Sunday.
Oh,
did you all watch it? Did you all check it out?
Yes, of course I did.
Yeah? Shawn, you had to work, so you saw a little of it?
I saw very few minutes of the Super Bowl. I got to enjoy a nice Notre Dame women's lacrosse game versus Michigan on the ACC network. The game ended right before halftime, so we scrambled to get everything done. I got home with just enough time to watch the last three plays.
It was pretty exciting towards the end, too, because you never knew what was going to happen.
See, me and my couple buddies that came over, we actually kind of lost interest in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a good game.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but there was pizza and there was beer involved.
Sure.
As a typical Super Bowl party would have.
You have wings?
No, we just did pizza and some Thai beef chili lettuce wraps that I made, which were bomb. Towards like the fourth quarter, my buddy Mike was playing on my computer with my driving simulator with my Thrustmaster steering wheel.
Oh, nice.
He was playing that, where my buddy Matt was playing with my Oculus Quest 2, and he was bashing things in the Oculus. I'm the only one watching the game. These guys were just playing games, on their own.
See, when people come over, you have to hide the tech. You got to put it all away.
Yeah, no, I wanted to show it off because, but no, it was a good game, but that halftime show, come on.
Yeah?
What do you think about that?
I like it. See, okay, so I worked in that format of music.
I don't know.
I liked it. I thought it was good, except I was disappointed.
Why?
They didn't bring out that 10-year-old hologram of Tupac. That would have been cool.
Well, I thought they were because they started to do California Love, and I'm like, oh, they're going to do it. They're going to bring out. But no, instead, who do they bring out?
You got an upside-down 50 cent.
75 cent. And I say 75 cent because it's 50 cent with 7.5% inflation.
Yes,
because
course.
He does not look the same.
He does not.
He looks like he's had a couple good steak dinners these past couple of years.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty funny because the memes just went crazy. For all of you that are online, you get on the internet, if you look for the Super Bowl memes, they are hilarious.
If you did not watch the halftime show, 50 Cent, obviously a very famous rapper from the early 2000s. He came in and did a one-song performance as a special guest.
Yeah.
He wasn't announced prior, but they brought him in upside down. He was hanging from the rafters upside down. I mean, it was a good halftime show. I liked it because there was not a lot of over-the-top fluff on it, I guess. It was pretty basic, and I liked Dr. Dre where his little, I guess you call a station where he was, stationed on top was a giant mixing board because he's a producer.
Yeah.
So he had the mixing board and he was pretending to kind of mix the audio together. What I didn't like, though, was the way they had to edit the songs.
Yeah, it didn't flow that well.
It didn't flow. That's the part that kind of bothered me a little bit, but it was good. I liked it. I liked Eminem's. I knew Eminem was going to perform "Lose Yourself."
Yeah,
because
they had to do their biggest songs.
Oh, of course. And then next episode they did next episode and a couple other ones, but yeah. But then I kind of felt bad for Mary J. Blige and Kendrick Lamar. They were just kind of filler.
They were there. But there's a lot of fans of Mary J. Blige.
I know, and Kendrick Lamar too. And he's an amazing lyricist, and Mary J. Blige is an amazing artist as well. But they're just not on the level of Snoop, Dre, and Eminem. And
still disappointed they didn't bring out the hologram. And most people commented, they said, come on, it's 10 years old. They did that, back at the Coachella. And I remember watching
Coachella,
I remember watching it. They were streaming it on YouTube. And I remember watching it going, wait a minute. Are you kidding me?
If they can do that at Coachella, they can do it at the Super Bowl.
They could have, but it was kind of bright. You got to have really controlled lighting.
It was daytime.
But I felt bad for you
I'm
because
glad you guys enjoyed it.
Well, yeah, but that was the name of last week's show. Two Rats' Butts. You didn't really care.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, it's not your kind of music.
I haven't read up on any of the critiques or anything, so it's.
Can we talk about the commercials?
Oh, they were amazing.
My favorite, Coinbase.
See, they did some analytics, and they said that one was actually considered one of the worst.
Well, because all it was a floating QR code.
Yeah.
There was no words on the screen at all, ever, during the entire thing. But I liked it because it's different. And people are like, I mean, because me and my buddies are sitting around going, all right, who's going to scan that QR code? And
Who's
so my
going to be
buddy's
the
like,
nerd
all right.
to take out the phone?
Yeah, so he's like, all right, I'll do it. And he goes, it's a Coinbase ad. And then at the end of it, we were all sitting there watching, you know, because it's the old screensaver where the block kind of bounces off the different corners of the, and so at the end of it, he was like, gosh dang it, I just really wish this thing would hit the corner, you know, the very perfect corner of it. At the very end of the commercial, it hits the corner, and we cheered more for that than we did for a touchdown during the game.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen,
so we were
nerds.
sitting at work,
Yes.
and I happened to be have it up while this commercial came on, and we had it up on multiple screens in the control room, right? I think that was the focus of everybody else's attention, right? Not our game, which was on one small screen.
Yeah.
But so it came on, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." They're like, "Oh, what is this?" I was like, "Do you not remember the DVD, the DVD screensaver?"
Yeah.
For your DVD? He goes, "No."
What's a DVD?
Well, yeah, that's pretty much what it felt like. And I was like, you know, all the people that cheer for it when it hits the corner, and sure enough, boop, right into the corner of the screen, and it was just hilarious.
That was kind of cool.
I really do think that I like that one. But the Rocket Mortgage did some good ones too.
Rocket Mortgage and Barbie was rated the highest.
Yep. Yeah, the
when
Barbie
it comes
one,
to that. But that wasn't my favorite.
What's
Now, I
your
will tell
favorite?
you, the two I really liked, FTX, which is another exchange
crypto.
for
But
crypto.
what was their commercial?
Their commercial was, see, I'm a big fan of Larry David. So their
that
commercial
one. Yes.
was "Don't be a Larry," because Larry David.
I'm always right about this.
If you watch his show, he's always the guy that is saying, on things that would have been a good idea or things that happened to him that he should have been involved in and he wasn't.
Yep.
And that's what it was. Through time, the different inventions that he'd say, yeah. And when it came to crypto, that was his thing. Now, what they were doing is when it came on, how many minutes into the game or something like that, they were given, FTX was doing a contest. So if you registered for an account, you could actually win a coin, which is worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah, they were giving away like 7.5 Bitcoin total.
That's quite a bit. I mean, with today's rate.
Yeah,
so
that's been like $30,000. No, $300,000.
I signed up. I said, what the heck?
Coinbase had an outage. Within the first minute of the commercial airing, they had 200 million unique hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, so there you go. Their commercial was successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
so how many people signed up, and how many people are now trading crypto, and how many fees are they going to get for bank fees and stuff? Like,
well, the ads, remember, were $7 million each for those ads.
For 30 seconds.
If you had 200 million people and only 100 million people signed up, or 100 million hits, right? 100 million hits signed up, and then they make one transaction, you made your money back.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
I wonder, and, we have seen a turn this last week in the numbers for a lot of the crypto that's out there. So it's been kind of a positive thing.
It did kind of change the markets a little bit. I mean, everything's been kind of going up these past few days since the Super Bowl, and I think it's just new investors. But, the downside of that is, you got a lot of whales. You got a lot of crypto.
Explain what that is for people who don't know.
Well, a whale is a person who is heavily invested. I'm talking millions upon millions of dollars in crypto, and they can change the market with one trade.
Yeah.
They can dump.
That'd be like an Elon, pulling an Elon.
Basically, yeah. But they can dump their bag of Bitcoin on, the market and cause it to crash instantaneously. And then they just buy it back at a cheaper price.
At a cheaper price, yeah.
Because they have so much influence over. That's why they call them the crypto whales. Same thing goes for regular stock markets. I mean, there's not as many whales in the stock market because there's so much regulation. But when it comes to crypto, there's no regulations. There was one commercial that I saw that it was a good commercial, but I honestly had no idea why.
A lot of us thought that. Well, like, what are these ads for?
Well, there was one. I can't remember exactly the commercial itself, but it was this very heartfelt, feel-good message about something, right?
Right.
And at the end, it was just like, boom, Toyota. We're all sitting like,
I remember that ad.
What the heck does Toyota have to do with blah, blah, blah?
Wasn't it Budweiser that always had those ads that, like, tug your heartstrings during the game?
This one was a Toyota commercial, but it had nothing to do with cars or Toyota. It was something about feel good, like, try your hardest or something. I'll have to look it back up.
You may have seen
but
that.
It had nothing to do with Toyota. At the very end, it was like, boom, Toyota. And we're all sitting there looking at each other like, what the heck does this have to do with Toyota?
They didn't.
The only two commercials I got to see.
All
So
right.
this was, and I haven't looked at any else online.
I'm hoping you saw the other one that I really liked. So go ahead, tell me.
the Coinbase commercial and the electric Chevy Silverado commercial.
Is that the one with the Tommy Lee Jones?
I did end up seeing
was
that
a
one
good
the
one,
other night
too.
because it aired on the Olympics after a while last night too. So it was the Keeping Up with the Joneses one. Where it was all the
That was
Tommy
a good
Lee
one.
Jones and
All right,
that,
so
that one was cool too.
the same disappointment that came out of that one. I got the same disappointment from not seeing Tupac, because at the end, when that truck pulled up and they all look over, I wanted it to be Tom Jones. I didn't want it to be one of the Jonas brothers.
It
was like it would have been better if it was Tom Jones. I was disappointed.
You know what? I bet you Tom Jones was like, you can't afford me. It's like, I'm sorry. When was the last time you worked, Tom Jones? I'm sorry.
Are you
When was the
kidding me?
last time you
Tom
worked?
is one of the. I'm a big Tom Jones fan.
No, me too. But
Tom is one of the most active guys at his age range doing shows.
Where?
All over in England and.
Oh, he lives in England. Okay, whatever.
I think he's doing them.
No, he lives in Hollywood.
No,
dude. He lives in
Tom.
Beverly Hills.
All right, we're gonna look this up.
Yes, he does.
Tom Jones, the singer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's from Wales. Where does he
He's
live?
from Wales. He's Welsh.
Yeah.
yeah, but he lives in Hollywood.
No, he doesn't live in Hollywood.
Dude, I know personally Kyle Hunter. My buddy Kyle Hunter is the meteorologist for Fox 5 San Diego. He's friends with Tom Jones. He used to work for Tom Jones.
I met Tom Jones.
Yeah, well, he used to work for him, and he's like, I'm over at his house like every other day. So, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
I mean, maybe he does live in Wales, but he also has a house in Hollywood.
Well, that wouldn't be that hard to believe. So what do you think about the Silverado commercial? What did you think of that one? Did you like it?
I mean, I thought it brought back, because Eminem played the halftime show, right? It brought back heavy vibes from when he did the Chrysler commercial. It looked very similar to the Eminem 300 Chrysler commercial, where it was his song playing in the background. It was showing different scenes of Detroit. And this was not Detroit. It was New York, right? So it was showing inner city driving, or Jersey or wherever. It was some city in the out east. And then the truck pulled up. But that was the first time I'd seen. I'm a pretty big car and truck guy, right? I like to see, and I have several of the spy sites, but that was the first information I'd seen about the electric Silverado at all.
Are any of you thinking about electric vehicles? Does this make you even more after this? Make you think, you know what? It's time.
Here's my concern, right? And I have another article I want to read about this too. Is what's stopping any car manufacturer from doing subscription-based services, just like Tesla has done, where the top model you buy, everybody gets the same model of car, but then you price out different options in the car. So the hardware's all the same. You just get software licenses to go faster,
right?
Or software licenses to get further range, or software licenses to get headlights, or whatever.
What? There's certain regulations that you need to have.
No, I understand,
headlight.
but what's stopping car manufacturers from nickel and diming every feature in your car?
No, there's nothing.
BMW charging you $6.99 a month to use your key fob.
Yeah, that's interesting. The thought on that. Consumers revolt because they're saying that some of the cars that are being shipped now aren't active with everything. A lot of this stuff was harder to integrate. They didn't have all the tech, so you might have something that's not available yet. But once they do a firmware update, how much would that cost you? Because I know my car could use a firmware update. I've got a computer in it. Could use a firmware update for me to
your car runs like Windows 95.
But for me to run in and go do it, I have to pay for it. And do I really need that extra navigation feature? No, I really don't. I'm fine.
So I have a buddy that's got a Tesla Model 3. And they actually said that unbeknownst to them, they went into their car the next morning and it said, welcome, new software update was downloaded. And they got more horsepower out of their car and more range, because when they parked their car, it said that it had like 200 miles left on a charge. When they came back the next morning, it said it had 300 miles left, and they hadn't charged it at all.
Oh, boy.
And so the software update just unlocked more range and unlocked more.
So we get loot crates in our car, basically, right? Is that?
Yeah.
I think that's what Shawn's saying. Is that this idea is that this could be? I mean, if Taco Bell can sell a subscription for tacos, why couldn't a car manufacturer like GM or Ford?
By the way, that taco subscription is awesome.
You get a taco. You both are giving it thumbs up.
Oh yeah, I gave it thumbs up, and I
$10
gave
a
it
month
some
for taco
money.
a day? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Every day you have to have a taco.
I drive by 2 Taco Bells on my way to work.
yeah.
I'm bound to stop at one of them for a free taco.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I kind of wonder about that. They just announced this week that coming. I couldn't believe that it was only out for a year. The DeLorean. It was one year.
It only 1 year?
1 year. But the car.
What year was it?
80. I think it was 81 to 82. But think about this. That car has been is everybody's mindset because of Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's been around forever, but it was only made for 1 year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because it was only made for 1 year because it's a garbage car. It weighs like 4,800 pounds.
Like a Rolls Royce.
It was it underperformed at the weight. It just got terrible gas mileage. It just was not a well-received car.
But it can go back in time, bro.
Hit 88 miles an hour and you're set.
Yeah.
But now they're coming out with an electric version of the DeLorean. It's going to be an all-electric version. They just announced it this week. So, I mean, if you want to have that look, we're going to see that more and more. But I think you're dead on with that manufacturers are going to find a way to say, hey, if you want this feature, it's going to cost you this much per month.
Right. So look at it this way too, right? Because right? Because anytime there's been software or subscriptions or online anything, right? It only takes X amount of time before somebody hacks it. So there's going to be a black market for car upgrades. It's not going to be chop shops. It's going to be software upgrades.
That's a really good analogy right there.
Wasn't there a problem with people hacking cars for a while?
So you look at all these other security, we get ransomware every day somewhere, right? So what's stopping somebody from locking your car out, coming up on your computer screen with a mask on saying, you owe me 10 Bitcoin to unlock your car.
Like, joke's on you. It's not my car anymore.
And then there's the idea, could they be selling cars like that as well? Like subscription. We call it a lease. We call it a purchase. Instead, you subscribe to the car.
So since we're on this topic, I saw an article today that talks about car sales. Y'all have heard of that car seller Carvana?
Yeah. They have you should see this in Phoenix. I bought my car. It's just down the street from them. They have a kiosk, and it's like, I don't know how many levels.
7 stories tall.
Yeah, and there's cars in there. So you go in. I don't know if you put a big coin in there and you get a car, but that's what you do.
Well, so there's a story out today, and this was actually local to Denver news, but I'm sure it's going to make national news really quickly. But there was a guy who purchased a car from Carvana because he didn't want to go to the traditional route. Nobody likes to deal with car salesmen. Even though it's gotten a lot better over the last 10 or 20 years, people still have this stigma of car salesmen being scummy and cheap and wanting to screw you over, kind of thing.
Wow. I bought my Chrysler from Jim Click, and I loved it. And I still loved it.
Again, it's changed over the past decade or so, but people still have that stigma of car salesmen. So Carvana kind of capitalized on that stigma and was like, look, you can just buy it online. You never have to talk to anybody. Mm-hmm. But what happened with him is he bought this car, and then a month later, the car gets repoed from his driveway because it was a stolen vehicle.
Whoa. How'd that happen?
Had a second title pulled on. So it was stolen from, I want to say, so he lived in Denver. He lives in Denver. The car was stolen from, I want to say, Arkansas. Arkansas.
Oh, my Lord.
And it had a second title pulled on it in California. Then it was bought by Carvana. And then Carvana sold it to this guy in Denver, only for it to be found and then repoed back because it was a stolen vehicle.
Wouldn't they know from the VIN number, though?
Apparently not. The other thing was he was talking to some other people that bought Carvana cars, and they were saying that Carvana, when you buy a car, because, again, you don't get to actually see the car in person when you buy it. You have to buy it, and then it gets shipped to you. What they're doing is they're sending you the worst model that you bought, the worst in their inventory. Basically, they're going to send you the worst one with the most damage,
Wow.
or possibly a car that was crashed and then reconstructed, but then they weren't never reported, or Carvana hides it.
I'll tell you what, that's why I like Carfax.
Well, that's the thing, but the thing is, you pull a Carfax, Carvana covers it up.
No,
That's what
you can subscribe and actually get your very own Carfax based on that VIN number. They can't cover it up.
Apparently, they're doing something about that, because how could a car get a second title pulled
good
unless
question.
it had its VIN number replaced? So I'm not accusing Carvana, but this is what this story is sounding like, is that Carvana's doing some shady stuff. And then if you get this bad car, you go and you tell them, hey, I don't like this car. It's got damage. It's got scratches, blah, blah, blah. Then, only then will they send you a brand new model of that same car. They're basically trying to get rid of the worst of their inventory first, because they know that you're not going to notice, because you've already bought the car and now it finally gets to be in your hands.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really bad look for Carvana.
I'm one of those that I like to kick the tires and check things out.
Yeah.
Although, let's face it, Amazon has changed a lot of that, especially when it comes to tech. We buy stuff sometimes now. We buy without even, checking it out. I ordered something I was going to show on television. And for those who don't know, when I show stuff on TV, sometimes the manufacturer will send us stuff. We get to play around with it, and we send it back. Or sometimes we go out and we buy our own stuff. And I saw this thing advertised, Wonder Bone, on Amazon. And I thought, oh, this looks kind of cool. Be good to show, like what animals can get as far as toys, like a dog or a cat. So I bought this thing. It was $70, and it arrived. And I charged it up. I got a full charge out of it. And I turned it on. It seemed like, oh, this would be cool. Dogs would like it. Like, you put this Wonder Bone in the middle of the room, and if a dog approaches it, it'll start jumping around. And it's, you could control it with your smartphone, or it senses the dog, and it will move and all that. That battery was dead the next day, even after a full charge again, after testing it out, unplugging it, right, and just turning it off, leaving it, and the next day, I had to recharge it again. I said, nah. So I sent it back. But that's the way it is now with a lot of the things when it comes to tech. We don't really put our hands on it. We just get it sight unseen and hope it works.
But like you just said, Amazon, right? They got their return policy.
Yeah.
You don't like it? Return it. Boom.
They're
done.
good
no
about
questions
that.
asked.
For anybody who's ever thought about ordering, their return policy is pretty good.
Sometimes you can actually order something, and it doesn't matter what the price is. Because there was actually a really good YouTube video I watched on this. I can't remember who did the YouTube video, but it was talking about the Amazon return policy. The returns, a lot of times, just end up in the landfill. They don't even go back to the manufacturer or the seller. A lot of times they just end up in the landfill. So sometimes they'll even say, you know what? You don't like it? Just keep it. Keep it, and we'll give you your money back.
There is a product I bought. I'm not going to say the product because it wouldn't be fair to them. I think I spent $119 for it, and I got it, and I really just I thought, nah, you know what? I don't need this, and I tried to return it, and they wouldn't take the product back. They issued me a full refund, and I said, well, what do I do with this? They go, just you can give it to a friend. They can't return it, or you can throw it away
because it costs them more money to actually get it back than it is for them to resell it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of this video I was watching, was that it actually cost the seller more money to have it repackaged back up and shipped back to them than it is for them to just say cut their losses and be like, you know what, just keep it. We'll give your money back.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have it. And I feel bad. I don't want to use it. Like, I could use it, but it really had nothing. It did nothing for me.
Yeah, but you feel guilty if you do.
Yeah, I feel I took the app off my phone and I said, okay, that's it. I'm not going to use it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's sitting in the box somewhere. So,
oh, wow.
I don't know. Maybe I should send it to you.
Maybe. Send it, Shawn. Let's see.
All right, we never found out from you though, Justin. Would you consider getting an electric car?
I have thought about it. I have, but the thing is, my problem is, people say that electric cars are the future, but what people don't realize is that the batteries that are manufactured for these cars are just as destructive to the environment as the car. As the savings in fossil fuel by not buying gasoline. I mean, you're talking about lithium and all these things that have to be mined out of the earth to make these batteries. And then when they make the batteries, they're not landfill friendly.
Aren't they talking about shipping them off to the moon?
Yeah, okay, sure. Let's get Tesla to get their SpaceX stuff going and ship these off to the moon.
Yeah.
Whatever. But the batteries will end up dying eventually, and they cannot be recycled, and they have to be put in these giant landfills that are not classified, but they're just...
It's not going to be good for the environment.
They're hazardous material.
Hazardous materials. Thank you, Shawn. Yes, because they can't do anything with them.
The big controversy around the progression of batteries is the mining of the precious metals for the battery, the lithium, the sulfur, those things. It's considered to be a lot like blood diamonds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where they're mining these in countries that have overreaching governments and a poor population, and you have the working class mining for dirt poor wages when they're selling these for millions of dollars to places that want electric cars. So there's a lot of controversy around batteries in terms of, are we being humanely responsible in achieving these products?
That's the problem. We're not being responsible with this, but yet it gives people this feel-good feeling that, oh, I'm buying an electric car, I'm saving the environment. No, you're not.
Where do you get your power from at home?
I get it from about 70% of it's solar, and then the other 30% is from the grid.
Right.
Right. So that 30% is still likely burned by fossil fuels.
Fossil fuels, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So somebody that doesn't have any solar, doesn't have any wind, doesn't have any hydro.
Yep.
Right? How are they charging their car? They're probably using more fossil fuels to charge their car than they're saving by not driving their car.
Thank you very much.
Good point.
People just go home and they plug their car in. They go, no big deal. I'm saving the environment. No, you're not. The electric car market is only hurting one industry, and that is the convenience store industry.
Why is that?
Well, because you don't need to stop for gas anymore. Therefore, you don't need to stop for 7-Eleven donuts or, the taquitos.
Oh, I love those taquitos, though.
Yeah, I know.
I'd still stop.
So no longer will you have to walk to the gas station to get gas if you run out. You'll just have to flip out a solar panel on the top of your car and wait.
Yeah, there you go. Wait till it charges.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with more of Tech Talk Radio.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
So in the last segment, we talked about car subscriptions and subscriptions based and stuff like that. Would you buy a Intel processor that you knew you bought at a certain price but could pay more later to upgrade it?
I've heard that they were thinking about doing this.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this is really a trip. When I saw the story, I thought, wait a minute.
So last September, somebody in the Linux community found in the patch notes for Intel that Intel is making a Xenon processor that it's scalable. Right now, it's only apparently used for Linux, but it says that you can. It'll throttle your clock speeds.
Mm-hmm.
It'll throttle your hyperthreading. It'll throttle your available cores.
Okay, how long is this going to
take?
Until
you pay up.
Okay, how long is this going to take until somebody hacks this? I'm going to give it 24
I was thinking the same
hours.
thing. Somebody would come along and try and hack it.
Immediately, but just the fact that a large company like Intel is trying to do something where you buy a chip that is capable of doing, let's say, 24 cores at 4.2 gigs, right? But you only bought the license to do 16 cores at 3.4 gig.
Well, so don't you go through this in the camera industry? We talked about this last week.
Yes, we do.
So you buy a camera that's capable of doing 4K, but you only pay a license for 1080p. That's all you're getting, but it could do more.
Correct. And granted, that's okay. I mean, it's nice to be able to do that, but it's frustrating.
Well, so I don't understand this. So what you're saying is, if we think about this logistically, what they're doing is they're making a $1,000 processor, but they're selling it to you at $300, but only unlocking 25% of its availability. And then what they're planning on doing is making their money back in the future and saving silicon and saving the manufacturing process by simply allowing you to unlock more when it's required. As the processor gets older and software gets faster and more things happen, then you pay a license fee to unlock the next level of your processor. So I get it. It saves silicon, saves the manufacturing process, but I go back to my first statement. It's going to be hacked immediately.
Right, but what happens when you sell it?
Yeah, exactly.
See, okay.
Does that license go with it?
Well, if the
Do
license
now
is
I have
burned
to
in
have
the
a
ROM,
registry for my licenses, and I have to make sure that
what happens
I
if
don't...
you have to reinstall Windows or Linux or whatever?
Well, no, it would all be ROM. It would be
Right,
hardware
but
based.
That's what I'm saying.
If I reinstall Windows, I know which version of Windows I have.
Yeah, but
I don't
I'm
install
saying
whatever version of Windows and then put in my key and it says, "Oh, here's 10."
No, I know, I get that, but like, so what Andrew was just saying, like, and I said, if it's burned into ROM on the chip that you've unlocked, level 5 of 10, then I guess, yes, you could resell it and say, this is, level 5 of Intel chip out of 10. But again, going back to it's going to be hacked.
Well, here's the other downside to this. I mean, and when you think about it, it's kind of cool that, okay, maybe I can't afford to be able to do, 16 cores, and I'd like to have that in the future, but right now I can only afford this.
I like that idea.
All right, yes, but here's the downside. One of the things, and I just went through this. I just recently built a new machine.
Yeah.
And I went through that experience of picking, I want the Asus 590. I want the 11700 processor. The problem is, you're not going to get the benefit of the technology now in a brand new motherboard. The motherboard changes as processors change.
Okay.
You get new features on those motherboards.
Okay, what about that? Okay, then what if they do that same thing? What if they sell you a motherboard that can be unlocked for better features later on?
I see problems.
No, I do too. But
Yeah.
I like where their head's at. I like the idea because you're saving silicon. Mm-hmm. You're saving the components. You're saving all of those manufacturing processes because people are constantly upgrading physically their products. So if you can save on that, you're going to produce less waste.
Right.
Well, you're right. I agree with you on that. And I think it's great because you do have one series of chip and you buy at what you want. So
Sure.
they're producing the same chip no matter what you buy.
Yeah.
So they make 10 million chips instead of making 10 million of this spec, 10 million of that spec, 10 million
yeah.
of this spec.
There you go. Yeah.
They're just selling you 10. You're buying out of the pool of 10 million instead of buying out of the pool of 50.
So how could they stop hackers? Or what kind of technology out there could stop
Somebody
hackers?
will crack it.
Yeah, but there's got to be a technology out there that could. I mean, look at. I'm totally gonna go on a complete tangent here. Look at video games and cheaters like Call of Duty, right? Mm-hmm. They always are trying to combat cheaters by releasing these anti-cheat software that these games run that potentially will find cheaters and block them from the game.
Then they hack that.
Well, and then they have to update it. So it's a
Right.
cat and mouse game, right? Cat and mouse. So how could they do that with physical hardware?
Well, I mean, you can look at it the way Windows does it, where your hardware identifier reaches out to the Microsoft server and it says, "Oh, hey, you changed your hardware. You're not going to work with Windows anymore." There could be a hardware identifier that reaches out. You turn your computer on. You connect it to the internet, and it goes, "Hey, this is what we should be set at."
Honestly, though, I really wouldn't use Microsoft as an example here, Shawn, because it's so easy to just call Microsoft and say, I upgraded this piece of hardware. They're like, oh, here's your new license key, even though you may not have actually done that.
So how easy would it be to say that to Intel, right? You know what I mean?
Sure. That's what I'm asking. What is the foolproof method for Intel to not allow hackers to do this? Because it would be a disaster for them as a company if they did this and then this product got hacked in 24 hours.
See, I've been building computers for over 20 years. And,
yeah,
I know that,
me too.
Again, all of us, I think, have done this where we just, we move with the times. New motherboard, new memory. We got new, DDR5, DDR4. We've been through that whole route, At this point, does certain technology stop? I mean, their idea is a great idea, but I'm thinking it's pushing everything else back. Which graphics card is going to come out? Come on, let's face it. People are spending the most money right now on CPUs and graphics cards. That's what they're looking at is graphics cards. Even NVIDIA right now has come out and said, Well, that 3090 we were talking about, yeah, we're going to be quiet for a little while because they just don't have that capability. Now, if they had a card that unlocked and kept jumping up, it gave you more capabilities. But trust me, you're going to be paying through the nose for that when it comes out.
Yep, that's true.
Or, like Shawn said, it's subscription. Oh, you want this? It'll cost you this much.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was getting at, right?
I see, yeah.
So you used our cameras, for example, right?
Yeah.
So we bought our cameras for a set price because we know we bought them with add the license for 1080i, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could jump up to 1080p or 4K, right? But we would pay a set fee for that. If they came to us and said, yeah, if you want 1080p, we'll charge you $200 a month.
Right.
Who makes your cameras?
Grass Valley.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. Good company.
So
been around a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see them saying like we could do like a month to month where if you needed it for a month, you could pay X amount. They do that, right? They lease you licenses for a set period of time.
Okay. Yep.
Like Rent-A-Center for processors.
Right. But what's stopping Intel from saying you bought this card at $450, whatever the price is, could be, right? But we see that you're at the lowest tier. Why don't you jump up to the next tier for $20 a month?
We're so used now to spending money on Netflix and Amazon and Hulu, and the prices are going up on those. We're so used to dropping. We never think, oh, $10 a month? No problem.
Yep.
Put an extra, $120 in their pocket by going up $10 a month. So suddenly, that's
when you
guaranteed
started
income.
watching? So, but Netflix. You use Netflix as an example in there. They just raised their prices to $19.99.
Yeah.
What was the price? Do you remember what the price was when you first went to Netflix?
It might have been like
$9.99.
I'm thinking even cheaper, like $7.99.
Well, wait, hold on. Are you talking about when the DVD got mailed, or are you talking about when the streaming service started?
What was this when you first started watching Netflix or using Netflix?
Yeah.
What was your monthly cost?
$7.99.
$7.99, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how many DVDs could you get?
2?
Yeah, and then you
At a
had to send them
time.
back. You ever lose
a
one?
time.
Oh man.
Well, no, I did. I actually scratched one, and they were just like, yeah, whatever, it's no big deal. But if you kept doing it over and over, then they would red flag your account.
I lost one once. I'll tell you something about Netflix. I lost one once. Somebody turned it in, and they'd already taken the money out of my account, and then they went ahead and gave me the money back, which I thought was cool.
I actually scratched one, and I said to Netflix, I said, I'm sorry, I scratched it. And they're like, yeah, no big deal, just keep it. This is your one-off.
Justin, I think you were doing the show with us when we had the CEO of Netflix.
Reed Hastings.
We had him on the show on Tech Talk.
This is way back in the day.
And that's when, they were talking about where they were going to be going with that.
That's crazy. I can't remember.
Because that was here.
You should find that, and we should air that as like a retro.
Gosh.
That would be kind of cool. We got a lot of them. Brian Burke, we got him from NVIDIA. We got a lot of the old people.
I've got another story that we have to talk about that just hit the news this week. So Best Buy. Now, God love Best Buy, right? Because they have really come back from like the brink of dead, right?
Yeah.
Best Buy is as big, if not bigger than it ever was before, because they've got new leadership and they're doing things differently.
Right.
And people love Best Buy.
Yeah.
They recently decided to release a bunch of GPUs. Now, remember how hard it is to get a graphics card right now, right?
Yeah.
Because of all the scalpers. So here in Best Buy, with its infinite wisdom, and Shawn is cringing right now.
What did they do?
I know what this is.
I don't know.
know,
I haven't heard
yeah.
of this yet.
So Best Buy decided, hey, let's release a bunch of GPUs. We're going to buy up thousands of GPUs. We're going to buy them, and we're going to release them to our customers, but only if they pay for a Total Tech subscription.
I saw that when I was in the store the other day. I didn't know what that was.
So that they said, you know what? This is going to prevent the scalpers because they're going to have to buy a $199 Total Tech subscription in order to even get access to buy the GPUs.
So now this subscription, what it does, Total Tech.
So Total Tech basically gets you like free Geek Squad service. You get access to like flash sales and things that other people don't get access. So it's kind of like just being a premium member.
You can call like tech support 24/7, right?
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of like that. Yeah. So, I mean, there are benefits to the Total Tech, but when they released it and said, this is going to prevent the scalpers from getting the GPUs.
Sure.
The scalpers said exactly that. They're like, yeah, funny. Yeah, good try. The scalpers, literally one guy here on PCMag.com said Total Tech did more to help scalpers than anything else, who bought 20 GPUs after Best Buy decided to place the products behind an expensive membership paywall. So this guy literally paid the Total Tech membership for all of those GPUs that he purchased, and is basically just going to mark up his cost on the scalped items. And Best Buy's going, oh man,
why did they just make it one per person? You know,
well, that's the thing. That's what they should have done. That's what everybody should be doing, but nobody's doing it.
I still keep seeing, they keep saying the 3050 is going to be out for $250, which we'll have to see if that actually, if you can get your hands on one.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to.
The only way you are going to stop scalpers is if you do a in-person, one-only brick and mortar store. It's the only way you're going to get around that.
Which Best Buy could have totally done.
They didn't make you go in the store. You could get it online, right?
But I think, honestly, they did this. I think they did this because they knew they could make more money as a company, knowing that it wasn't going to stop the scalpers.
Oh yeah, they're gonna come out and say, I guarantee this is just big business attitude, right? It's we don't care about the consumer. Yeah. We're just gonna make money, but we're gonna make it seem like we care about the consumer by saying this is totally gonna work. Now it's kind of shady that they said you have to buy the subscription. I saw a lot of people were upset about that, right? Because it's just unfair that now I have to subscribe to something I don't want to get a product that I know is going to be overpriced.
Yep.
It's frustrating to the consumer. But Best Buy doesn't care because they sold them.
Yeah. They sold not only did they sell the GPUs, they sold the subscriptions to this Total Tech service.
So now $199 for a year. After a year, they can cancel, right?
I'm assuming.
Pretty sure that they'd be able to.
Yeah, I'm assuming. But
they make their money back.
You forget? What happens when you forget?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you just
like every other subscription you have, you forget. And then you look at your bill. Crap, what was that $199 for? Oh man, I've got another year.
There's a lot of I know there's a lot of people even listening right now that like the idea of having somebody they could pay a flat fee for. So maybe, for Best Buy, it was a good idea, but again, it wasn't good for all of us that are trying to buy a graphics card and at a reasonable, decent price.
It's not going to happen for years.
It's going to be a while. All right, we can take another break. We come back. We got more Tech Talk Radio for you standing by.
Now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
Andy, now, during the break, you were mentioning you had a question.
Yes, I wanted to ask it on the show. Okay. We have a long conversation. The show usually runs 2 hours, and we cut it down for you guys to about an hour.
It runs about 4 hours, but you don't get to see all that other stuff.
And so I said, I have a question I want to ask on the show, because you guys both have Nintendo Switches, right?
Yeah.
So I was in Walmart the other day, and I noticed they had some Nintendo Switches on the shelves. They also had the Xbox S series, which I thought was kind of cool.
Series S.
Series S, yes.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, okay, when you buy, because I was thinking of buying it, showing it for the TV segment, and then maybe keeping it. It was going to be $300.
But Nintendo or the Xbox?
The Nintendo.
Okay.
Right? But then I thought, I'm going to have to buy a game? Does it come with anything? When you buy a Nintendo Switch, somebody goes in the store, what do they get with it?
A Nintendo Switch.
They get a Nintendo Switch, the 2 Joy-Cons, and that's it.
And a docking station and a power supply.
They do get a docking station.
Yeah, it comes with a docking station.
So
now,
and the games are expensive, aren't they?
The Switch Lite does not come with a docking station.
Yeah.
Does it?
No, it does not. No, it does not. But no, so the games are not all expensive. If you want to buy the AAA titles, the Nintendo branded ones like Mario Kart or Zelda, Legend of Zelda, or Mario Party, sure, you're going to pay the $59.99. That's pretty much the standard price for a game. But Nintendo is great with the indie community. And when I say indie, I mean independent.
Right.
Independent developers. So, Shawn, you know this. You can go into the Nintendo eShop and buy games for $1.99.
Yeah, there are plenty of games that are good that are on the eStore that are in the range. You could spend anywhere from $2 to $60 on games, right? And it depends on what genre of game you want to play. But there are a lot of good independent games.
So if I was to buy the Switch, is there some kind of an account like you have with Steam or
Yeah, you sign up for a Nintendo account.
Yeah, it's a Nintendo account.
and you can just download the games from there.
Yep.
How about
And
like
you download
Donkey
them-
Kong?
Well, okay, for Donkey Kong, if you want the original Donkey Kong, you have to subscribe to the Nintendo Online, which gives you access to a lot of the original Nintendo Entertainment System games and Super Nintendo, and then there's like an add-on, which is like another. So Nintendo Online is like $50 a year, I want to say.
It's $29.99 a year. So
Okay,
$30 a year.
So Shawn knows more about this. Go ahead, Shawn.
So the online account you pay, I think it's just over $30 a year. And that gets you access to being able to play online with your friends. So a lot of the games that are out there, Mario Golf, they all are multiplayer, so you can play online with your friends. But it also gives you access to their collection of NES original Nintendo games.
Oh, nice.
Emulated for the Switch. Then they added Super Nintendo games emulated for the Switch.
Yep.
Now, maybe about 6 months ago, or right before Christmas, they announced, hey, Nintendo 64 games. But you have to move up to the next tier of online.
Yeah.
So now you got to pay $39.99 a month, or $39.99 for the year.
Right.
Yeah, so it's going to be like $60
it's not a monthly,
year.
It's not a monthly subscription. It's a yearly subscription, right?
Yeah.
So, but for me, that's fair. I like that, right? I have a Super Nintendo Classic. I've got an NES Classic, right? And those have a good collection of games, but there are a different collection of games available on the online portion. So you can play certain ones there, but you can't play certain ones there. So it's worth it to me. I like playing the old classic games when I kind of get in a rut of what games I want to play. I'll just jump on there and play original Mario, or I've been replaying through Ocarina of Time for the 64 on my Switch, because the only other, I have a 64 and the original version of Ocarina of Time, right? But it's not convenient for me when I'm traveling or when I'm going somewhere to take a Nintendo 64 with me, find a TV that accepts composite signal, component signal, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So being able to play it on the Switch is good. Now you'll get the purists that say it's not a true feel, it's not emulated well enough. But to me, I don't even notice. This looks just like I played it when I played it on the 64.
Speaking of the Nintendo 64, there has been some big, huge rumblings. I almost want to say it's an earthquake feeling, but the best game for the Nintendo 64, in my opinion, and many other opinions, GoldenEye 007.
Right.
That game basically defined that Nintendo 64 genre.
Yeah, it did.
It really did. And they're talking about that the new HD remastered version is about to be announced in the coming weeks, but not for Nintendo. It's for the Xbox.
You're kidding me.
Yep.
Wow. Well, I do know that Microsoft has been pushing for the Switch to start, obviously, with their purchase. They want the Nintendo Switch to carry Call of Duty, the franchise, which well, I think would be good. That would be
but it
neat.
can't run. It can't run on the Switch. The hardware just won't support it.
Well, it just
if
means,
it did, it's going to look like poo-poo.
It means Nintendo would have to upgrade the hardware and sell new devices.
Yeah, but
right?
Okay, trying to get Nintendo to upgrade their hardware is like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
But
while I agree with you that GoldenEye is a staple of the Nintendo 64 world, I don't think it's the best one for the 64.
Yeah.
Okay, well, agree to disagree, but sure.
All right. What
Perfect dark.
with this, with this, we're gonna have to see, because next week it's the release, and I know, Justin, you gave it up, of Valve's Steam Deck, which a lot of people have been excited about. And Shawn, you saw something today that it means that if people want to get, break it down, and maybe they break it by throwing it or whatever, they're going to be able to order parts for it.
So I saw an article online that if you're into hardware repair at all, the website you go to find a breakdown is iFixit.
Oh yeah,
right. They became very popular for breaking down the original iPhones. You can go all the way back to the original iPhone, see teardowns, how to replace batteries, all that stuff. They did a breakdown for the Steam Deck, a full breakdown. So you can think of anything you want to fix or repair or replace, you can find it on their website now. But what's cool about it is they will be selling official Valve replacement parts from their website.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So they got licensed.
Yeah.
So if you if you rage quit and you smash your Steam Deck into the ground, you break the case, or you break the screen, head over to iFixit, buy a new screen, follow the guide, and replace it.
There was a guy that I know, Chris, who posted on Facebook that his screen cracked on his Samsung on a smartphone, and people were saying, "Oh, you can go to this place at the mall and they'll do it." And I know there are people out there that do a great job with it. But honestly, iFixit, I bought a kit for my iPad, which I still haven't done. Justin, you keep asking me what I do during the day now that I don't have a middle day job.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one thing I should do. Start to get that done. I keep listening to Phil from ZipRecruiter, who for some reason thinks I want to be a CDL truck driver. How did they figure that one out?
Hey, they make good money.
Yeah. Well, either way,
See, you could be a truck driver. We could build a mobile rig and take our show on the road.
Yeah.
You could also become a truck driver and deliver all that stuff that you're storing for me in your storage locker.
Oh, finally. Either way, so some good stuff. iFixit.com, good website. Speaking of that, we got a website of the week Justin's going to share with us coming up, which we've talked about before, but there's a new facet to it. That's coming up. You can find us on the web at TechtalkRadio.com.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
So we've talked about this website before. It is a flight tracking website. It's called adsbexchange.com. Don't ask me what ADSB stands for, but it's adsbexchange.com. So you can see in real-time view all the different flights that are happening around the world, from commercial to private to military to drones.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, so you can see that. But there's a new add-on that I found on Reddit. And
right.
If you're on Chrome, and there's one on Firefox too, but it's not as good as the one on Chrome.
What, is it an extension?
It's an extension, yes.
I hate those things.
But it's called the Adsb Add-On.
All right.
So you download this extension to Chrome. When you go into Adsb, you can click there's a whole new section where it talks about interesting filters.
All right.
And let me give you a couple examples. Russian military, Chinese military, companies, actors in Hollywood.
Wait, actors in Hollywood?
Yep.
So you could click on that and it'll show you any actor that's in the air?
Yep.
How do they know? And what level? Is it like A-list?
Hold on. And then
I'm going to give Eddie Deason flying across the sky.
Shush your mouth. Let me talk about this. Elon. They actually have a filter for Elon Musk because he flies around so much. NASA, North Korea, drones, heads of state, people, DOJ, athletes, Area 51, and televangelists. You can actually track these people, and what it does is when you click on that filter, it shows you what aircraft are in the air that fits that category. Then what you do is you click on that aircraft, and it will tell you who it's registered to. Like, for instance, Jim Carrey just came back from Hawaii. I saw him go from Long Beach, California to Hawaii and then come back today, and he was back. I followed Angelina and Brad Pitt's plane, which, they're not together anymore, but the
That'd be an
plane's still
interesting
registered.
flight if it was.
Yeah, but it flew from Santa Barbara up to Seattle, Washington.
So it must have a database that across polls that says, okay,
it's all publicly
this celebrity owns this plane. If they're in the air, that's kind of cool.
It's all publicly available data. It just compiles all that data into one place. So that way you don't have to go look up the tail number or the FAA registration number of each plane to find out who owns it. But that's what this extension does for you, is it looks up all that information for you. So you can just click on it and know whose plane it is.
So you said you didn't know what ADSB stood for. So
Yeah,
I
no, I
looked
did.
it up.
All right.
It is Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast.
Oh, wow.
Which is a primary technology supporting the FAA's next generation air transport and air transportation system, which shifts aircraft separation and air traffic control from ground-based radar to satellite-derived technology.
But now, this is only, though, if a celebrity owns the plane. I'm on IMDb. I've got a profile, right? So if I fly on United Airlines, I can say, look, there goes Andy Taylor.
No, it doesn't
that's not public.
No, exactly. That's not public. Plus, you don't own the plane. It only tracks the plane, not the occupants.
Okay.
So even though I tracked, Jim Carrey's plane, it doesn't necessarily mean that Jim Carrey himself was in Hawaii. It was his plane was in Hawaii.
I got it. Okay, that's kind of cool. I like that. All right, one more time.
It's ADSB Exchange. So what was the ADSB stands for again?
Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast.
Okay,
That makes me feel
ADSB
comfortable.
Exchange. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Surveillance. Yeah, anything with surveillance in it. ADSBExchange.com. Look for the add-on on Chrome called Adsb Add-On, and then you can have this for your own computer.
All right, what a show. That wraps up this week. We'll be back next week with more of Tech Talk Radio. Make sure you follow us, like us.
The Queen of England's flying.
Where's she going?
Wales.
No, it's just her corgi.
Oh, okay.
Mike, if you're listening, I'm sorry we didn't get to your build, but I have 2 builds for you that are under $1,000, and we did it.
We'll put it on the blog. All right, blog.techtalkradio.com. Like us, comment. You can find us again on our website, techtalkradio.com. Have yourselves a great week.
See ya.